times throughout the season so far, so getting him off that comfort is going to be instrumental here for MVP if they want to take that win.
Yeah, very top-heavy. He's played 9 games of Jarvan and 7 games of Kha'Zix, so that lets you know that a whole lot is going on in terms of champion pool. Now, you see the Sion ban, and it's ADD, of course. Ian's also been playing mid-lane Sion and solo queues, so I was really hoping we would see some mid-lane Sion.
It's been a while since we've had that.
2015 hipster fans will remember the Monty Doa days when it was mid-lane Sion from Kuro on then the Coup Tigers.
The who?
Coup Tigers.
No, the who? The what days?
The Coup Tigers days.
Oh, okay.
But in
you
this
mentioned some names, I don't know who you're talking about, so you just confused me for a little bit.
They're the ROX Tigers now, just to be clear.
Gotcha.
But in this particular game, Camille will also be banned on Blue's side. Because we're not able to get their hands on that pick last series. It's a really interesting meta where red side seems favored because nothing is super broken. You know, we don't have the Zhonya support anymore for Ryze, but Ryze is a strong pick. First pickable champions seem thin. Ezreal for some teams, something like a Galio for other teams, but there's a bit more flexibility. MVP may be loading up for an Ezreal first pick, but they'll take a Galio if it's available as well.
Kalista banned away. Don't want that in the hands of Songyun. The major comfort for him. Battle ban, though. Is it going to be the Galio, as you say? Will we see it left up? It's going to be Skarner at the end, banning that one away from Beyond.
Yeah, Beyond has been doing the Emax Skarner, and we're not allowed to have that in the LCK. If you lock it in, it's got to be Qmax, apparently. So it had to be banned away. Good ban, ROX Tigers. Deny away that meta pick. But it's going to be just a first pick Ezreal. Remember, this is over Galio. And ROX Tigers are one of our big Galio teams. Are they happy to pull out the Galio here? Galio versus Azir could certainly happen in this matchup.
Could lock it in alongside the Sejuani. This has been what Songwan's been going for. He's kind of been going for the, the tankier junglers that still can aggress when necessary. The Kha'Zix not really working out for him so well, but the Sejuani and the J4 have been leading to some of those game victories for the ROX Tigers, so they lock that in.
What about Galio? He is one of the big picks here in Korea and increasingly around the world. It's not taken this round. They'll expect to be taken on Blue's side. Could just be Corki versus Galio then, and it's going to seem like a reach, but this is suggesting Xayah Rakan on red side.
Okay, well, go ahead. Lock in the Xayah.
You really don't want to take Rakan with Ezreal because it's
Yeah.
a really bad laning phase for those two, so you're kind of expecting to pick up the entire Xayah Rakan in the first round here for ROX. Can MVP set up a scenario? So what you can do here, you can consider the Rakan. It's probably just going to be a flash. This would be a very heavy respect pick if they took it away. Seeing some nods of the head from Max. Will they just do it? They do it anyway. Wow.
Okay.
That is a huge respect ban. Or respect takeaway, I should say, from the ROX Tigers. But what I was going to say is, if you know for sure the last red side pick is going to be Rakan, you can set up a scenario where you pick a solo laner and then double ban against it to get a really favorable matchup. But they've gone all the way to deny away Xayah Rakan, a duo that actually hasn't performed in Korea very recently.
Well, it's here. Want to lock in here for MVP as we get ready to go into the next round of bans. ROX Tigers, what do they want to secure for themselves? Could go for a support.
This is really bizarre already. The Ryze was overlooked for Azir. The Rakan was taken with the Ezreal. I'm already just kind of monkazing in real life.
Look at that. The GP made it through. In all of this confusion and just weird stuff happening, Gangplank, one of the most broken champions that we still have in the game, will make it through.
He's still strong. He's still really strong. So Gangplank will be taken here for ROX. So wonder how this happened, but we'll accept the Gangplank anyway. Can start banning away strong lanes into it. Not expecting ADD to rush out with a Riven, so the Vladimir is probably enough coverage, and you're happy if the Gnar is broken out. So we're getting weird here. I feel like this is going to be some sort of abstract art. We've had some impressionist art recently. The abstract stuff has come.
I would love to see ADD's Riven. I have no idea how he would play that one out, but unsurprisingly, some support bans there. The Alistar taken away. MVP trying to lock key off of something big that can make plays here for the side of the ROX Tigers. Some engage perhaps to go alongside the Sejuani.
And ROX Tigers, they got scaling on the top side, great initiation from the jungle role, and an AD carry that's safe, even if it doesn't have the Lovers duo fully committed to. So feels like MVP of the lineup that's really craving an identity much more. So I don't know how you patchwork together something from Ezreal's poke and safety, Azir's poke and kite back, and Rakan's hard engage, but I've been surprised before. The red side, though, we're looking for mid lane and a support. A lot of supports banned away, but something like a Tom Kench available if they want to consider it. They're probably just as puzzled as we are, so something safe here and then reevaluate with the last pick is the way they want to go.
It's like, good God, I can't believe they took the Rakan.
Why not an Echo, I guess?
Oh, you know what? Screw it. Let's just go. Let's just lock it in.
I guess it's going to be a mid lane Echo. Okay, very interesting. I don't think Key is going to play support Echo, so mid lane Echo against Azir. It strikes me as you're going to take
back
a whole lot of harass for free. MVP, I guess engage is the way they're considering now. It's going to be Zac, so okay. Heavy engage coming through with Zac Rakan.
Can I interest you in some Spring 2016?
We've got some, I said, a pastiche going on here.
Oh,
and then you mentioned the Cho'Gath. It's the substitute for the Scion. Been playing it to victories recently, so 2-0 Cho'Gath, undefeated in multiple games for MVP. You got to lock it in instantly. If you lose it, Achilles, oh boy. The other win rates aren't so good.
And then, the Zac there for Beyond. Still holding out hope that we will one day see the return of the Amumu, but it's just not very good right now.
And we're going to start playmaking. If we do see Key lock in, the Shen has been one of our frequent Shen pickers. Shen and Xayah and Ezreal and Rakan is some weird stuff. It's not going to be that weird. It's going to be the Thresh, okay. We're going to get some pick options.
It's not going to be that weird, but the intonation of your voice just really, it leads me to believe that it's real bizarre.
I mean, these duo lanes, this must-see TV. You'll never see these duos put together in any other region. Or any other game in this region.
You know, it's not that weird, but I guess they'll go for the Thresh. You know, this is a strange draft, Papa Smithy, but I'm excited all the same.
Now, Thresh does answer things like the Grand Entrance, but specifically the Zac very well. You remember Mada's pocket pick was the Thresh for the Flay against Zac.
Yeah.
But it feels like people have gone just too micro on their laning phase or too specific in their interactions. Got a whole lot of interesting stuff going on here. So load up, OGN Legion. We're going to have a fun one, a brawl between MVP and ROX. Not a bottom of the table clash. MVP on the up and ROX Tigers right in there. Could equal KSV and go 5-4 in the first round robin if they win. This one, though, we're going to need to decouple. We're going to need some time. Hopefully, we're going to have 5 to 10 minutes to really show us their hands. We don't need bluffing. We want some very clear indications early because we've got some crazy stuff on the wrist.
I'm ready to watch that mid lane. Echo returning to the mid lane. First time in a very long time. Going
against Azir, of course.
You know, you just love taking melee champions into the Azir. That's the perfect thing. But all right, this has already been a crazy draft. I'm hoping that the game exceeds that even further with the insanity. It's MVP versus ROX Tigers. It's bound to be a crazy one. Let's hope this thing flies off the rails as we jump into it. Game number 1 of our final series of the night, MVP versus ROX Tigers. And we're going to have a pause as he very quickly tried to get through that ROX cheer.
Seems like it's in the ROX booth. We'll wait for Joel to jump on Discord to confirm. I had the chance to jump onto the solo queue account for Lava, and what do you know, playing all of that Echo.
Okay.
Seems like a mic issue, some communication on the side of Lava. He's probably like, guys, I didn't say Echo, but maybe there's an echo in his mic. Who knows? But there's Echo on the Rift, and what we do know from that, it's Proto Belt Echo coming through on the side of MVP.
Joel queued his mic back up just to laugh at Papa's terrible joke, and I found that to be rather funny.
But I know, it was an earnest laugh, too.
Hopefully we can...
I got one person with that one.
Hopefully we can get this squared
stuff.
away, and we can jump right back into the game.
So if you're wondering, are we going to see some crazy mid-lane tank Echo like that 2016 you talked about? No, AP coming through here. So AP Galio and AP Echo. Proto Belt into fat stacks of AP is the approach coming through, as we're hoping to see ROX Tigers address that audio issue. I actually agree with your analysis of the lane matchup, though. Echo getting a lot of free damage. There's certainly some sick outplays from both sides when the Emperors divide, and the Echo Ultimate are available, but earlier than that, it's going to be pretty painful. Just Q and kind of use a Corrupting Potion charge every time you try to push the lane.
I guess it's like very slightly less oppressive since the nerfs came in. The nerf rather came into his year where he will take aggro for using his W, but even then, should still be able to bully out the
There's
Echo.
the latest nerf, of course, which is also that the cooldown on the Q is much higher at early levels.
That's
so
true.
Just, you know, but one range of harass every 2 kind of attempts at a Q rather than off cooldown will be a little bit less of a pressure. We're getting the confirmation. Hopefully we're resuming very, very soon. We want some video games. We want to decouple what is a, let's say, left of center draft from both teams.
It's very far away from the center. It's pretty shifted off, you'd have to say.
Why would you pick Ryze at all? You know, just leave it up.
He's only the most balanced champion, as we've just discovered.
He has the most balance, is the way I like to think of it. Match 44, so almost halfway through, guys. First match of tomorrow will be the halfway point in the season. What will it read here for ROX and MVP, though? MVP looking way better. Of course, after 0-10 start, anything was better, but again, just very impressive against BBQ. 2 pre-30-minute victories over BBQ.
It begins.
Yeah, started early there. And no corrupting potion yet.
Oh, dear. Lava is in for a world of pain.
Yep. Looking at starting items
he's got
here.
the refillable, at least.
Everything pretty standard. See if the jungle starts will be mirrored. Zach loves to start on the wolves so that he can power farm with Q and W, the Gromp, and also the blue buff. You're going to have to fake leash here if you're MVP, because what we've seen is a cool little adaptation is that when you know for sure that someone has started bottom side and then wants to power farm the top side, we've seen late invades onto the blue buff to deny the fairly slow clear of 2 camps at the same time. But just starting top side and a fake leash on the bot side does allow for Beyond to be pretty safe when it comes to this power farming that we're speaking of. I know that I play a lot of Zac, and whenever I ask for a leash on my wolves, people have a question mark pings and really want to help me on the blue.
Why would you go there? Look at this blue buff.
Because you can do this sick farming. Look at this. It's OP.
You were worried for a second. You guys watching for the spikes there.
I've watched someone in competitive play reset the camp, so thankfully that didn't happen there.
That would have just been the icing on the cake. Would have been great. Not for Beyond, but for our entertainment. To see that clarity roll through. But for now, push coming in from Maha and Max. Just trying to shove the wave in underneath the turret, make those last hits a bit more difficult for Zhongyun.
So how do you play out the drops? This is a question that we're going to have to really put our heads together and understand. You can tell that ROX is going to be very strong at the 1-3-1, as Echo in a side lane has always been a famous thing, and Gangplank's going to be farming up. So the 1-3-1, when we get 2 or 3 items onto the Gangplank, is going to be very, very powerful. And Azir is going to be kind of caught in that spot where he really wants to be in the mid lane wave clearing and get blue buff, but not going to be able to. Someone in a ward, so it'll be difficult to pull this gank off.
Just appearing up top, they will get that little charge off. Locks him in. Gets a bit of damage in onto the Cho'Gath, but he's got his passive. He still holds onto the flash, so it seems like he'll be okay.
Meanwhile, MVP are all about team fighting. Very strong front-to-back team fight where Zac tries to kidnap someone even if he misses. Cho'Gath feasts on what is a pretty squishy front line, and they just go from there. So front to back for MVP. ROX Tiger's more about the 1-3-1. So even though the picks are a bit weird.
Oh dear, Lava, yeah, getting chunked out. One more hit would do it, and he flashes away right at the last second for fear of the chase
He
from
was
Ian.
single digit. He was 7 by the time I even bothered to look in the bottom corner. So that was 3 HP or so there.
And this is what we were talking about. Refillable potion has been used, and he's not even going for the corrupting yet. He's still just picking up a Doran's ring, getting a little bit of extra HP to tack on, but he willingly picked this. So Lava's still going to be feeling confident despite the early bullying coming out and that 6 CS deficit he finds himself in at 4 minutes.
And if you flash that late when you hit 3 HP, you should have flashed earlier. There's no calculations when it gets to single digits.
Yeah.
So, oh boy. Ian's got both summoners still, and it's like, well, that's what you get for picking Echo into his ear. Well, the surreal game continues. The 1-3-1 looks delayed now that mid lane's going to be denied. When you don't have flash up as Echo, your gap closes really much better going forwards than going backwards. So there's not going to be a lot of safety there. See if Azir can control the minion wave.
Yeah, just kind of have to toss the parallel convergence behind yourself and then hope that the shield will get off in time to save your life.
Really like the Cho'Gath into the Echo as well, because Echo's all about baiting with the corner break and silence for multiple seconds. Good way to answer that. So ADD on comfort, but also something that fits the situation. So first instinct is that despite seeing the Ezreal Rakan lane, if they can get through the laning phase, Rakan still holds a lot of value. And then ROX Tigers took such a leftward turn with the Echo that unless the 1-3-1 really leads to a lot of fruit, we're going to be left wondering.
Every time goes for a minion.
Last time we had a mid lane Echo was a very famous match. 2017 Summer Finals, 26th of April. Sorry, August. Wow, words are hard. It was the mid lane Echo from Faker trying to shut down BDD's Talia. Did not work on that day.
You can see Echo not nearly as balanced as Rise. 39.1% win rate.
The quote you were looking for there was that they showed us before game 1 that.
Oh boy, Shrimmer Shuffle coming, and Lava gonna get pushed back, has to jump over the wall. It's pulled right back in by the Zac. Parallel Convergence comes down, gets the shield, one more hit would do it, but they can't chase in, even though he doesn't have the flash, and Lava will yet again make it out with his life, but barely so.
Man, Lava loves living life in the fast lane. 50 HP this time after 3 on the previous attempt. Not looking like this Echo mid lane laning into an Azir is going to get any easier, even after the small nerfs to Azir over time. Oh boy, this is something he invited onto himself. The Protobelt is still looking far too far away. Need that to even hope to one clear the minions in one rotation. And Ian keeps farming on a pick that's looked better and better for him as the season has gone on.
Lava now going to be down almost 20 CS. Is growing exponentially here in favor of Ian. Both summoners down for him, however. Just could not quite get that kill. Getting that first blood would help surge him that much further forward on this Azir build. You can see right now playing a bit more defensive, not just rushing out for the Nashor's Tooth. Does have the Null Magic Mantle in the inventory.
See, the problem for Lava with all these backs is that he's actually lower level than the enemy jungler. He'll be able to hit level 6 soon, but
yeah,
jungler is at least a bit of a minion wave ahead. Looking for a turret dive here. No Feather Storm available yet.
Kidnap ready to go, throws it down, but there's nobody nearby.
Well, didn't even need to flay that one away. All right, go back and set that one up for next time beyond. Need a bit of work on that one.
Yeah, I mean, if you got some flashes out of that, you'd be like, ah, exactly what I wanted. But now you just kind of look like a fool.
Especially because Key didn't flay, so like, the thing is, if you don't flay, then of course you can't interrupt the Let's Bounce effect. You need to flay earlier, but
yeah,
apparently you didn't need to flay at all.
Beyond just outplayed himself.
Well, the outplays upon outplay started in the draft and are now extending to the game here.
Beyond going to get spotted out by that ward, but Sungwon doesn't want to go in for the 1v1. Just going to be looking to take away the Gromp. And should be able to do so safely.
Let's calmly reassess where the game is at. ROX Tigers actually in a gold lead because that's how Gangplank rolls. Who needs a CS advantage?
I don't know.
Looking at the runes, it is Electrocute on Lava. It's a very assassin build. When you see Electrocute, going for one rotation all in.
I would love for this to do well so we can see a slight resurgence of assassins.
It's very hard to close games with assassins, kind of being my read whenever I see them in solo queue or even at the highest level of play.
It's not that hard if you have 4 kills in the first 7 minutes of the game.
You say that, but, you know, if I've learned anything, Gathering Storm Azir can extend any game, so actually closing games without severe wave clear is kind of a struggle. We'll hold the point, though, as 1-3-1 is really going to be the game plan for ROX once they can stabilize the mid-laning phase. Bot lane's gone way better than expected in the Ezreal and Rakan lane.
Yeah.
Ezreal's power in lane, despite getting nerfed a couple of patches ago. And the safety it allows has meant that Rakan can get away without having the extra range on the Battle Dance, on his E. That makes him almost completely a Xayah and Kalista only pick these days.
Just trying to stay ahead here. So far, so good with him. For him, rather. Building up towards that Iceborne Gauntlet by the look of things, the cloth armor in the inventory.
Just calmly reassess, keep farming. It's all going to be about item break timings and then the first turret going down to allow the 1-3-1 to start. Very similar to a Rise comp. This particular Echo comp that we're seeing from the ROX Tigers, but laning phase a lot weaker than Rise, means that it's Less reliable.
Misses the parallel convergence. Will get pushed in underneath the turret. Lava will go ahead and snap back. Just barely misses the damage on that chrono break. So not going to be forcing Ian out of lane here for the moment.
Ian's gone very respectful also with the rush on the Merc treads.
Yep. Someone now arriving there, but oh, he just whiffs.
Man, Boots 2 has worked out pretty good for Ian.
Yep.
Faker-esque in some of these side steps. Very nice. Bit of a confidence there for a very popular player among the MVP fans. Was 2 wins on Azir last time out. Its only effective champions this season have been Azir, Zoe, and Corki. So most games of Azir and some nice little side steps in the laning phase.
That was a pretty bad ultimate by someone.
Well, yeah. The junglers are just, you know, having a laugh. Beyond is not going to be quick to solo down the Rift Herald, but it's decided that's the best use of his time now that summoners are up on Lava.
He's got Lava backing out as well. See that recall coming through. Actually going to stop it here for the moment, but ADD roaming down to help assist in the take on this Rift Herald.
It's a bit suspicious. Sungwon smells a rat.
He's pushing his way around, but can he get there in time? No, he cannot. Feast comes through. Rift Herald will get picked up by MVP.
The Feast secure, man. That one pretty academic, even if Sungwon decides to get frisky with an Arctic Assault over the wall. Nice little start there, and if they can be the ones to end the laning phase and slow down the onslaught of free gold for the Gangplank, that would behoove the side of MVP. MVP have the natural disadvantage in playing side lanes unless they attack the Gangplank, because of just the ability of Gangplank to impact the map with the cannon barrage, which is very frequently what happens when we see a team starting to try to start some sort of a 1-3-1. And they just want to stop Gangplank being in lane against a Cho'Gath as much as possible, because unless they're ganking with the Cho'Gath, they know the Gangplank is free farm.
He's more than happy to do that. Just go ahead. Keep clearing out the minion waves, one after the other. Linderong building up, looking for that Triforce. Nearly has it, has the dagger in hand to go ahead and pick up the stinger. And then from there is the very inexpensive completion cost. Lava will get a handoff on the blue buff, which makes for easier clearing in the mid lane. See if he can claw back some of this deficit that he's put himself in.
Iceborne Gauntlet, first time we've seen in a little while on the Ezreal, is the rush here. I think a lot of this game is about mid-game team fights. I think they feel very comfortable here. MVP going for a fast power spike on the Ezreal. Gonna get a lot earlier than a Trinity Force. And then the Nationals to the first item for MVP. And I think MVP want to keep their foot on the gas. They want to really force things in the early to mid-game to deny there being a 3 or 4 item Gangplank to complicate matters. Gangplank can potentially get to insane levels in a game like this, whereas farm will never be kept in check with the comp that's been drafted against him. So that's why, even though you like the 5v5 team fighting from MVP, you worry that if ROX can navigate around 5v5 team fights, the Gangplank can get a lot of work done.
Sungwon getting aggressive here onto Beyond. He'll get locked up. Lava, in the meantime, is just looking for Ian, but won't be able to find him.
Very, very frustrating whenever you lane against an AP Echo, because you know basically every time his W is up cooldown, they're going to threaten this. Beyond and Sungwon see each other, but for now, no attempts at an all-in by either mid laner.
This has really died down the excitement.
Well, what about a Rift Herald? It started off as an interrupt. Very nice.
Nicely done. Tosses it out. Says goodbye to your Rift Herald.
That was a very lazy use of the Rift Herald. We've seen, for example, in our first series when Jin Air was on blue side, they actually used it just over the actual cove wall, not even in the river, but much more defensively than that. And good stuff from Sungwon. Great trade of cooldown, something that you took 2 members 30 seconds to take, is answered by 1 2-minute cooldown.
Yeah, helping just go ahead and preserve that mid lane turret. MVP as well, we can't get that, so I guess we'll go ahead and take a Cloud break. Definitely a minor consolation prize for them there.
You guys haven't seen that interaction, just to confirm, if you are hard CC during the channel of the Rift Herald, which is 4 seconds or something like that.
It just says goodbye.
Yeah, it just fizzles. So it's not even a bad Rift Herald, it's a Rift Herald that never existed, is what happened in this particular game. now they're continuing to invade, and Lava's getting to that point where you have to respect his all-in and his chase potential.
Pushing in, but that's going to be Ian coming through. As the Emperor's Divide ready to go as they try to focus down Lava. He's going to go ahead and snap back. Snaps back, gets a little bit of damage in onto Ian, but can't finish him off, but now goes forward and actually finds 880 first blood. Finally going over to ROX Tigers here, 15 minutes in, but Lava going dangerously low, has to try to stay alive, gets the Lantern, keeps himself in, Hook comes down with the box onto Beyond, trying to pop him to get the passive. He'll be able to stay alive, maintain that passive, pushing forward as he falls down to also single-digit HP. And after all of that skirmishing, Lava's going to be the one that finds the only kill from all of it.
Look, if you're going to play Lava, certainly your pulse is apparently going to be racing the entire game. Third time we've seen Lava on blinking health, but not die. He picks up the first blood of the game. His item build is getting together. Now he has Proto Belt to help with his pushing potential. Side lane Echo is soon to be a thing, and it's going to be on ROX Tigers' time because there was no Rift Herald to end the laning phase in the mid lane early. Watch the replay here. Notice that Feast is down. So that actually allows Lava to be pretty proactive. Usually you have to ult very early against a Cho'Gath because you're afraid of the threat of Silence and Feast. That two-part combo wasn't there, and Lava, he has to be below 100 health. It's in his contract. About 50 health here, able to get out. Also interrupt Beyond. They're not able to get the passive with the Ignite, but still, another trade-up in an amazing circumstance for the ROX Tigers.
That would have just been the icing on the cake, getting the pop on Beyond, making him that much more vulnerable. Turret has also gone down. ROX Tigers able to claim that first brick gold, and that's why you see them push forward by just a bit over 2,000 here.
And he's down 5 CS with an assist, but of course, 2,000 gold lead for the Gangplank.
Because why the hell not?
One day it's going to be gone. They nerfed the Kleptomancy, remember? It used to be more.
You know, apparently it wasn't nerfed enough. Lava now, looking for the pick. Quite get that stun off the parallel convergence. Songwon finds his own. Quite a bit of damage, and now Key arriving. Does not go for the hook. He'll just go ahead and clear out the control ward. Maybe take the Scuttle Crab, perhaps.
Laning phase has gone way better than expected for ROX. Beyond
waiting
going to go in anyway.
And jumps in. He'll just get locked up yet again by Songwon, and we'll just actually take the Lantern to the sidelines as everybody starts roaming up into the mid lane. Hook not going to connect there onto Max.
Continue to back away. I like how on the front foot Key, I should say, is being on the Thresh. Max is usually our resident Thresh, but Key always been famous for those skill shot champions. The Bard the most famous, but his Thresh has had its moments as well. Good job to roam with the team. And again, the laning phase has gone way better than expected for the side of ROX Tigers. Free farm for the Gangplank. Lava not dying in laning phase despite falling low multiple times. And now getting his item cores together. Once there's a Lich Bane, you know what he's all about. He's all about taking turrets in the side lane and then looking for a teleport flank. And MVP, the only big thing they claimed was mid lane CS lead with all the chunking out of the Echo, but the Rift Herald, and the Rift Herald wasting, or being wasted in such a severe fashion, has really put a dampener on the early game for MVP.
I swear, Lava's probably going to make it deathless until he gets his Zonias, and then he will die without using the Zonias. That's what'll happen.
That sounds like a prediction I can get behind. You get good odds on that one.
Lava trying to push forward and threaten Ian, but he's got Beyond waiting in the wings. Ooh.
He's down.
Jumps back in, yes it is. Jumps in, gets the pop-up, tries to get the parallel convergence off, will be able to get it in time, gets the stun as the Let's Bounce comes through. Beyond can get played back into the box. And is under fire, has not gone down yet. Emperor's Divide will go ahead and push the members of ROX Tigers back as they get the ultimate off from that Sejuani. Beyond goes low, will get popped in the end. Doesn't look like ROX is in a position to go ahead and finish him off. Key gets chunked out by the Azir, has to kite back behind the turret, will stay alive just as Songyun arrives. No one dying, but Beyond does lose the passive.
But crucially, they don't have to use the teleport on the Bloblets to guarantee the life of Beyond. So the lower threat after the fact from ROX meant they couldn't finish that off. Speaking of finishing off, MVP walking up to the turret, low health members from ROX.
ADD, very tanky here with the Cho'Gath, has that Frozen Heart ready to go. I said Glacial Shroud, that's just the component. But has that set, so the turret's not really doing much to scratch the outer shell. Get a little bit of damage in, but not in a position to finish it off.
Item-wise, like I mentioned, Nationals 2 item. Ezreal, very nice power put together from MVP. But ROX has been looking at skirmishing rather than pure fights. Still seeing Echo hit the mid lane, so they haven't been priced into putting Songyun in the mid lane with Key just yet. Even further unleashing Key on the map. Waiting for a side lane turret to go down before employing Echo in the long lane. And also waiting for the Lich Bane that we know now is being built second. Already see the Aether Wisp, that's a sign.
Forward, looking for Ian, gets the play. The hook gonna go wide though. But maybe they can just go ahead and get beyond for the hell of it. Yeah, they will lock him down underneath the turret and they finish him off. As Songwon finds the kill, Team P does come through as Max arrives. But there's not much that the lowly Rakan can do at this moment to turn things around. Second kill does go over to ROX Tigers as they try to get closer to a 4,000 gold lead.
Yeah, Key's prediction not actually behooved. For once, the player actually moved towards that turret rather than trying to juke the expected direction of the hook. Makes Key look a bit silly, but they knew the Zac passive was down, so they had another easy target for them to turn on. First Drake of the game was a Cloud. Looks like an answering Cloud from ROX in all of this. Mid lane turrets still stay up. So for now, it seems like more farming for ROX and MVP.
Oh, the ult gets thrown down there as Songyun tries to find a kill into Maha, but can't get the root down. No takeaway on the Cloud Drake by Max.
He's stolen Drakes with less.
Yeah, just trying to get that cheeky feather steal. Parallel convergence yet again, missing the stun. Can't get that third proc either.
Definitely one of those games where Ian's going to have insane damage done numbers because of the laning phase, where he's just put damage on Ian the entire time. But again, the breakpoints are hitting. Lich Bane Echo will be so good at playing side lanes in this game, and there's no ability for Azir to follow. And Linderong, well, that part's already pretty clear.
Oh, he missed the cannon.
Never mind. There'll be another one. What next in this game? What will be the next twist and turn? A lot of Baron secure in the Cho'Gath available for MVP, and Baron damage from Azir Ezreal. But no kind of control or foothold on the map to make a play around there. ROX Tigers want to move the map wide, and you can see that Linderong setting up to be in lane against the Cho'Gath as the game goes on. This is a very early Giant Slayer actually coming through from Linderong, looking to work into the Lord Dominic's regard. Might even just sit on the Giant Slayer. I wonder if Giant Slayer or Executioner's Calling is better as a one-item purchase against Cho'Gath. It's because Cho'Gath does a lot of healing in the side lane as well. But if he's going to rush through, there's always the outside chance he rushes through because he's against a Zac and a Cho'Gath. But usually pretty low value to go Armor Pen on a Gangplank.
Took him a few seconds to realize. Nice interruption there by Max jumping over the wall.
He's still a Warmog, Szechuan.
He forces the flash.
Mid lane. Finally, we're going to see that Echo in a side lane. We alluded to it for a long time. Not Lich Bane, but still side lane from the Echo.
Trying to poke away at ADD, but you can see the HP just coming back faster than he can take it away.
Yeah, may actually be early armor penetration. We almost never see this. Standard Gangplank build recently has been very carry-oriented, going from a Trinity Force into an Essence Reaver, Infinity Edge, and say a Phantom Dancer, rather than the Giant Slayer, purely for laning phase, you would think. Returns to top side. He's always going to be relatively overextended compared to the Echo. Has one dash of his own and the ultimate, but just Azir works much better in a short lane than a long lane, whereas Echo has such an insane amount of chase. They're very, very comfortable in top. He is the one most empowered by this side lane play, because now he can roam around and make countless plays on the Thresh. Thresh in team fights, don't get me wrong, will be pretty useless. It's going to basically be a box and then kind of die in AoE. That's just the way of Thresh outside of laning phase. But right now, where it isn't true 5v5s, Key can do a whole hell of a lot.
They can test over the vision there inside the river. Both sides just going to go ahead and clear out. Everyone just posturing forward here into the mid lane. It's going to be the commit coming through. Barrage gets thrown down, and right off the bat, Max gets taken out. Kidnap not going to find anybody, and now Beyond has to flash away to try to stay alive. But the storm comes through. Not going to be finding a root, though, for Songyun. He gets chunked down to half HP by the Azir, so we'll have to kite back. They have the wave clear. ROX Tigers would love to take out this second turret here in the mid lane. Just don't have the HP bars to commit.
Cho'Gath had rotated from bot lane, so they knew there was going to be more range wave clear to stop them finishing off the turret. Not clear what the next objective is. They don't feel strong enough to start the Baron. No control ward on it, but Linderon get a little bit of free time with his turret. I say a little
one
bit.
Auto.
Literally one auto. But good news, he's up 3,000 gold now.
Oh, he almost got a second auto. That would have been asking too much.
Nothing greedy from the side of ROX Tigers for now. The gold lead swinging further and further their way. 4,000 now. Very exciting interactive lane as we watch big numbers popping up above Linderong's head.
It's great. Makes me feel like I'm playing WoW.
Giant Slayer's doing precisely nothing, but Pass will just see the very early Lord Dominic's regard. And they're coming for a chase here.
Lava. Gonna push down here. Parallel convergence will come down. ADD sees it. He backs away, and he's likely gonna have to surrender this turret. No one else in the vicinity. I think the closest person is gonna be Key, actually. Beyond, they're pushed up by that Baron. The pings are coming out. They're actually gonna start this one up.
Yeah, they're just doing it in vision, of course. They know they're there. Very strong Baron damage, as we mentioned from the Azir. Ezreal walks over. The smite is bot side, but it's coming in, it's closing distance. It's an MVP Baron, Achilleos.
Does come through, it's going low. The smite's gonna come down, and it's stolen away by Songwon. Dashes in with the Arctic Assault, takes it out, an MVP. Try to run away, but they're not gonna make it out with their lives. 2 members dead. Maha and Ian both go down. And just like that, the smart play, the one that gave MVP a bit of hope right there, all gets snuffed out. The flame is extinguished, and ROX come up with a steal.
This escalated so quickly, but in the most MVP fashion ever. They always stick on the Baron. As Beyond probably is going to be able to get away from this. It's only Songwon, though. And if he gets it a bit further away, he's going to get Warmogs. He doesn't have a Warmog, so that's a problem.
All right. Well,
I assumed he had a Warmog.
Songwon is just trying to hit these flails, but he can't. Arctic Assault.
There's a lot happening. There's a lot of meanwhile, by the way.
I mean, yeah, he's just delaying this as they go ahead and shatter the base. Still chasing him. And now Beyond's in a bad spot. He'll get jumped on, and Lava finds the kills. He goes over the wall, has to use the ultimate to go ahead and get himself back out. But is able to do so successfully. In the meantime, True Shot Barrage comes through. Keep going low. Does not have the flash available, but it might not need it. No, will get feasted down. As Song Yun kills the Rakan.
Yeah, Rakan actually used the quickness and missed the ground entrance. Did nothing, just died.
That's a divorced bot lane right there as the Xayah gets the kills.
True. Probably that's what happened in the divorce. We're going to watch the replay. You might have thought MVP would pull off the Baron, but we knew better, Achilleos. They were full committing. They were behind in this game, but there was no guarantee it was going to be a loss. They decided the only way they felt they could get back into it was to rush the Baron then. Did not work, and it hastens the demise of MVP.
Yeah, even with the Cho'Gath in the game, they still just want to go for the 50-50, and they lose it yet again. But they got a kill. They put one on the board.
I love MVP. They're always like this. This is the MVP we know and love.
It's the team that will just never change.
They will always start back.
They will always play the same way, and then sometimes they're very good at it, and sometimes they're just terrible.
To be fair, they finished the game so fast against BBQ they never needed to be a Baron. They got some, but it was irrelevant in that particular game.
Oh, God.
Well, now they're monstrously behind. What was 4,000 became 11. I should say 13.
Yeah,
1,000 very soon.
Closer to that, yep. Mountain Drake for good measure, just to help ROX knock down these remaining turrets a bit faster.
No one can enter lane against the Echo, who has not died yet.
Yep.
Hasn't built a Zhonya, so can't actually fulfill your prophecy. But is going to be very, very powerful in a side lane out of nowhere, it feels like. And
that just means
Linderon,
that he will not die.
Linderong's 5,000 gold up, so that's pretty cool.
If the only way he can die is to have his Zhonyas, then if he just doesn't build one, he'll never die.
That, you know, the logic checks out. That's the level of logic that this series deserves, based on the Game 1 draft.
I just can't wait to see what we get in Game 2.
Linderong still does precisely 0 damage to Cho'Gath. He does have the Lord Dominic's regard to pretend to do damage to Cho'Gath.
I would love for Lava to get a few more kills so he can get a Medj Eyes. We're going to try to jump in on him. Get the grab. In the meantime, down bottom, ADD is going to be collapsed on by everybody, and he will get popped as someone finds the kill. Lava was safe the entire time. Who would have thunk it?
Our observer decided this was the Born ultimatum, was cutting camera angles as fast as possible. We did catch the kill, though. Thanks, observer.
Yeah, we got it. And we confirmed that Lava was alive. True Shot Barrage thrown down, trying to clear out the wave. Elastic Slingshot is drawn out, but Beyond He's going to get knocked out of it immediately. Max goes in, gets the pop-up in onto Songwon, but he's a very tanky Sejuani. Kidnap comes through as they try to drag Key back into this one play. Comes down, and he still manages to walk away with his life for the moment. The root in onto the Ezreal, not elusive enough. Will be another kill going over to Songyun. 9-1 here now for the ROX Tigers as they knock down every single inhibitor inside the base of MVP, and should just be closing it out pretty shortly from there. 30 seconds still on Maha. They don't want to stick around and push their luck. Be happy with all of the super creeps that will soon be flooding the base.
And this is definitely one you could pull up the menu and type /FF for. This game is super over for MVP.
Yeah, they should have.
There is no combination of abilities being used well by MVP that beats ROX Tigers pressing their buttons averagely or half forgetting their buttons. So this is an insanely large lead. We are currently sitting at 16,000 at 30 minutes. If you're keeping track at home, that's a really big number.
ROX is holding the Royal Flush.
But for some reason, they kind of showed the Royal Flush, and people were like, well, they get a second Royal Flush.
What if we draw one as well?
You know? Then the deck is faulty.
I think my 2-8s beat this.
Well, it's not opposite day here.
Oh, dear.
Oh, MVP.
It was in Series 1.
It's true.
It's reverted.
League of Warmogs not been enacted. Zach has decided no Warmogs. Beyond, unfortunately, doesn't have money for one. Doing a bit of resist, but can't walk away daintily on the Zach. All right, ROX Tigers, let's finish the game. Echo's pushing in a minion wave, so is Gangplank. Gangplank's got an Infinity Edge. That's usually the go button. Pre-35 minutes. That's what I'm looking for from ROX Tigers.
I think that that's a very reasonable ask, given the way that the game has gone. And the state of the base right now with 3 waves of super creeps pushing in. Lava working his way up. Mirage comes down. First turret under fire, already knocked down to about half HP. They have the proc getting ready to come through to just go ahead and shatter it. Ian's been chunked down to half. Beyond goes forward, looks for the kidnap. Not gonna find a damn thing yet again. As Lava opens up in onto the turret, dashes forward, goes dangerously low yet again, but we'll get the healing back off the Chrono Break to get the pop in. Onto the Zac. ADD goes down, the rest of MVP headed to the hills as they try to get back into the mountain. They'll go ahead and lock up Max. Seems like he'll make it out actually surprisingly with his life as he finish off Songyun, and actually they will turn this one around yet again. He is here. Coming through in the crucial moment, will pick up a couple kills. The bot lane of ROX finished off, and maybe that 35-minute ask is a bit too much.
Yeah, just too bloodthirsty. They could have taken the 2 charts and backed away when Lava's health bar was disappearing. He could have just backed and, of course, teleported back into lane as well because his Chrono Break was off cooldown. But they're going to back away. They continue to push. I don't think this is the start of something special, but I'm willing to look foolish if it is. Require a lot of miracles for MVP to get back into the game, but to stop the game from ending, that one was a pass mark.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a surprise there, considering that they're now over 15,000 gold down. I mean, it's 33 minutes into this.
3-item Azir, as so often this season, being just so irrepressible. He's so powerful when he gets the Void Staff in. If you're coming to Azir, everyone's squishy except for the Sejuani. They die real fast to even a tuned down Azir over patches.
Lava sneaking his way in around the bottom side.
What is MVP to do when they have no base, but the enemy team starts Baron? What do you do?
I mean, somebody's got to stay back. Lava can just go ahead. He's going to ride the wave.
Oh, Ian's going for one of his famous steals. Forward. He's going to try and queue over.
Max is on the back through shot barrage.
I'm so excited about this.
This
could happen.
Can he take this one away? He tries to go for it, but Max just can't quite find it. We'll go ahead and keep himself alive and safe, but the Baron goes over.
Max has stolen like that many times, does not get it that particular time. He's going to back away. Now they have the Baron buff. It still is the conundrum for ROX. Do you take the fight, or do you try to rush down the Nexus? So far, that math equation has favored the fight.
I think that they're going to go ahead and maybe try to rush this one down. We'll see. Lava with a couple hits, and that Lichbane will absolutely rip it apart. Comes through, ADD going to get locked up, and Linderong finds the kill instantly onto Beyond, and the Nexus is under fire. A few more hits. We'll go ahead and finish that one off as they desperately try to hold on, but Azir has been taken out. The Nexus will follow suit. 34 minutes, 18 seconds on the clock. ROX Tigers will go ahead and walk away with a Game 1 victory.
Why not both, says ROX Tigers. They both DPS the enemy team and DPS down the Nexus. Very interesting first game. From the draft, we knew it was going to be a little bit different. ROX Tigers, though, were able to close it out. Very good early game for them. And then when the game was there to be kind of extended by the side of MVP, they went for the trademark, rush down the Baron, don't look for the peel, try to get the smite. Smite never came from the side of MVP, stolen away by Songwon on the Sejuani and the on-rushing collapse. And now ROX Tigers do pick up the Game 1 victory, and suddenly for MVP, it's back to the drawing board.
Rough stuff here for MVP, but you know, I still do have to agree with you. I think that MVP still very well could win the next game here and make it a 3-game series. After that showing, a bit more unlikely, but still entirely possible. ROX Tigers can come out swinging over onto the blue side, then perhaps MVP's hopes will get shut down. We'll have to see what they're going to piece together. It was a very messy but interesting draft on both sides there for game number 1. I think things are going to be a bit more uniform going into game 2.
Isn't it cool that the groupthink hasn't started, though, Achilles? It feels like ROX Tigers have a different champion pool than most. They were the first Galio, they're the first Echo. Maybe they have new stuff to share with us in the second game of this series, because both these teams think about League of Legends a little bit differently to the meta slaves elsewhere.
Well, some inventiveness there. The Echo finding success for Lava despite nearly dying multiple times in lane. It does work out. They get game 1. Let's see if they can take game 2 when we come back from a break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. ROX Tigers able to pick up the victory there in game number 1 over MVP with just 34.5 minutes on the clock. It was pretty systematic. Papa Smithy.
It was bizarre, though, in its construction.
Oh, yes.
Did lead to the ROX win, and a comfortable one after everything. But the manner we got there, the champ select, some of the decision-making, I guess the Baron buff was standard MVP, but everything else a little bit crazy. But 34 minutes rolls in, pre-35 minutes, thanks ROX Tigers. They are able to close it out. But are we any closer to knowing who will win Game 2? Because I feel like the draft of Game 2 will a little bit more on the straight and narrow compared to the craziness of Game 1.
I do agree with you. But either way, ROX Tigers playing that one out rather well. The Echo out of the mid lane there from Lava, doing some work, surviving against all odds. And he did, in fact, go deathless and did not build his Onions.
Honestly, he had a great game. The start of it, obviously, very, very rough. Hard matchup against the Azir, but he drafted into it and lived on specks of health so many damn times in the lane phase. This was single digits after the last bit hit. Multiple times he fell low on this one again, but Feast was down. They knew their limits well. And honestly, I don't know about the laning phase, but teamfight phase, I give an A+ to that of Lava.
It's fairly nicely done. And then we saw just how much damage he was doing to the turrets. The Nexus turrets especially there at the end. He did a very nice clutch save onto him.
Yeah, shout out to Key, who drafted the Thresh, which largely was for the play against the Zac, but also roamed well, was in first position many times. He would have been my MVP, but you can't argue with the clean KDA that Lava showed off in this game, and MVP all was decided in the end by a fateful Baron. So often is it in an MVP game. We're not even going to show you that highlight. Take that, OGN Legion. You don't get to see it again. Nope. It's an exclusive for the VOD. Lol. But the game did end in this particular passion of the game. It got close at the end, Achilles. We were wondering what would happen here.
You said it got close. It was a hold off for sure on the Nexus. They weren't able to kill it on the first push, but they were still down by 15,000. So far from close for sure, but yeah, lol indeed there for MVP. Bad times.
But to the drawing board we go. Freaky Freaks weren't able to do that. They weren't able to roll the dice high in the first series. See if MVP can make sense of the madness that was our Game 1 pick and ban. We could see an entirely new world. We could see a rise. Wouldn't that be novel?
I know. It would be absolutely insane. Tilt the balance one way or the other. Actually, we should not do the rise. Actually, yeah, because we would lose the perfect 50%.
Are you saying Rise is done forever now?
I think we have to retire him.
All right, Rise is retired, guys.
We'll
see if he's retired officially in this game.
We're going to delete him. But surprisingly, no swaps coming through on the roster. Maha's still going to be sitting in, so no sign of Pilot for MVP.
I wouldn't really say that Maha was much of the reason for the loss there, so we'll allow it.
I'm not blaming Maha.
No, I'm just saying, like, bringing in Pilot would just be a fresh set of eyes rather than necessarily an upgrade for a poor performance. We will not be seeing any Skarners allowed in this series from Beyond, who has been playing a lot of it in solo queue. Again, I was so excited about the Emax Skarner, but still going to be denied.
Not discriminating against Scorpions.
And Emax Scorpion.
They are not, yeah, Emax Scorpions specifically. Those are the worst Scorpions.
Apparently. That's what we've learned here in the LCK, and OMT did a great QMax Skarner earlier in the first series. In this series, we've got 2 jungle bans. I don't see this very often, not including Sejuani and Zac, interestingly.
Yep, the J4 yet again, just banned away by MVP. They don't want that for Songwon. They know that it's his maximum comfort. And speaking of which, the Scion is also gone.
That wasn't even a bad pun about Max. That was just the Scion being banned. The mid lane Scion dream is still dead, sadly. Ian has been playing that in solo queue. If you weren't joining us in Game 1, if you missed Game 1, maybe go back and watch it. It was a fun one.
It was an interesting one, that's for sure.
So far, the bans not too interesting. Will we see any Game 1 impacts in the final round of bans? I think ROX Tigers have shown they're up for anything. Ready to get down and dirty or play a long game. They're happy to do whatever the game needs to be. And they don't want a Malzahar, which says maybe Zoe first pick if the Galio is accounted for. But how will MVP read this? So Galio available, Zoe available. Maybe just pick whichever one's left open is the way they're looking at it here. Or will we see MVP ban neither of them? Ezreal also, very high tier pick that's available. Feeling like a red side pick with how many tier 1 mid laners are available. And with Vladimir banned, they're leaving 3 strong champions up, and theoretically MVP will take 2.
So which one ROX is going to prioritize here? Zoe, the hover coming through. The Galio's still available, but they're going to lock it in.
Ian hasn't played Galio this season, so interesting to see what they make of this scenario. Galio is kind of the
I think he's got it figured out all right.
cleanest choice in this particular scenario. So we'll see what they decide. They're showing the Swain, but sadly we're not going to get. So we will get a Gangplank earlier. They've decided that there won't be 5 picks before Gangplank is locked in. And Beyond might be getting aggressive. They do lock in the Kha'Zix. So we're going to see the Kha'Zix here. Great champion to close the distance and take out the pesky Zoe. Again, the Galio here would be really good for MVP. Both Gangplank and the Kha'Zix get a lot of value out of Hero's entrance being in the game. Most people do, but these two, to the nth degree. So ROX Tigers, what we're thinking. Zyra Khan available. Will they be together? The lovers were separated in game 1.
Well, looks like they're getting back together.
Love
all right.
wins. Bit late for the Valentine's Day, but in lieu of Valentine's Day, we get the lovers finally reunited. It was a torturous affair in the first game. We won't talk about that anymore. No more Ezra Rakan talk, please, Achilles. They keep flashing the Swain. Are they going to be the first Swain?
You know, it's MVP.
It is.
I would not be that shocked.
I would be actually really shocked. He's not very good.
Okay, well, it's going to be the Azir.
Power of Love stays together. MVP is going for power picks.
Great song.
The Azir here. This is kind of what you thought when ROX Tigers prioritized the Zoe. I wonder if this is a really good read because, again, Ian isn't showing the Galio. Azir versus Zoe is a skill match you can consider, and Ian has been relatively good on the Azir recently, but then you're left with Azir Kha'Zix, which doesn't really strike you as a lane that can play through the Zoe. So it feels like Zoe's going to be pretty comfortable here, Achilles, and doesn't have to halt the bill for any pesky QSSs as far as we can see so far. So it feels like they kind of got away with murder here, ROX Tigers, getting a free Zoe and no real Zoe answers. In fact, everyone in MVP is begging for a one-shot. And I'm not talking about alcohol at all.
Eliminate that. I mean, it might be both, you know, might be both. Depending on how this game number 2 goes, but Camille and Sejuani both banned away. Final one here for the ROX Tigers. What do they want to attack?
Jarvan, Kha'Zix, Sejuani, all taken out. He's actually only played Nidalee and Rengar so far this season, both of them to a loss. So he's another one of these players who's been a bit top-heavy with the champion pool. So we'll see Seongwan on something a bit different. His Ultra Comfort from back in the day was the Elise, but way out of meta at the moment. So see if he's going to show us something new. MVP need a bit of beef somewhere. Could consider an Alistair. It's a bit on the nose, but would fit the comp. Need a bit of secondary initiator, and they need a tank. ADD certainly will oblige with the tank. Cho'Gath could be disrupted, but why not last pick? The safest tank possible. Take a Braum.
Yeah, have to go for the Braum. The GP being locked in there for MVP. Locking them out of that many other options.
Gives them an answer to at least one of the trouble bubbles with the Unbreakable available on the Braum. ROX Tigers haven't shown us much with the draft so far. Looking for top lane and jungle. We start rolling through. We wonder if we're going to see something crazy from the jungle from Seongwan, or if it'll be a return to Rengar and Nidalee, his only other champions played this season. Nara versus Gameplay doesn't really inspire you, but it is something that potentially could be womboed with the Rakan engage. I feel like the comp will come together in the jungle pick, but what will it be from the ROX Tigers?
Well, Nidalee, the second one of the day, and they will go ahead and just lock this one in. So another highly aggressive pick here for the ROX Tigers, but have to be careful getting into that 1v1 scenario versus the Kha'Zix. That isolation damage can turn the tide of a fight.
Invader's advantage though, so we might see some real aggression out of both Seongwan and Beyond. Both of them best on aggressive picks. And maybe looking to round it out. Which of the tanks will it be, ADD? Oh, he's already on the game. Never mind.
Yeah,
it's just going to be an AD carry.
Which tank ADC will it be?
I mean, Varus gets pretty tanky, but that was a bit silly from me. It's just going to be Varus Braum, so super standard there. So Lover's bot lane against one of the strongest non-Zyra Khan lanes with the Varus and the Braum. MVP on the squishy side for sure. So we'll see how this all pans out. But when you opt into Nidalee versus Kha'Zix, and the only frontliner on any of the teams is really Braum, and then situationally the Gnar. Very interesting game coming out here in the draft. We might see just as many fireworks as we did in game 1.
Well, hopefully the fireworks get set off a little bit sooner this time around. Did have a couple dull moments there in game number 1, albeit made up for it by the end for sure. But ROX Tigers looking for the 2-0 closeout here over MVP. MVP looking to turn their luck around, extend this series all the way to game number 3.
Surprise packet of the spring split looks to end the first round robin 5-4. I don't think anyone would have made that prediction, including the ROX Tigers, who in interviews have talked about how things are going better than expected. Drafts here, very interesting to consider. No tankiness to speak of in a Zoe. The Zoe gets going, which you think she might, could be the deciding pick in this game.
Great siege potential here for the ROX Tigers. Nidalee, Zoe, and Nazaya all have a respectable amount of poke. Let's see if they can pull this off. Let's see if they can make this even cleaner than game number 2. That would be pretty darn impressive, considering how much of a lead they were able to garner for themselves. But MVP, they don't want to go down without a fight. We know they will fight tooth and nail. Go for those 50-50 Barons if it gives them a shot to close it out, to take us to game number 3. Let's see if they can do just that as we jump onto the Rift. I'm not going to lie to you, there's not that many people here, and that MVP cheer was louder than I think either of the cheers in the first series, where there was a much more packed audience.
And I'm not going to lie to you, Max did not buy an item. He decided that he is too strong independent Braum, mustache and all. Decided no items, only going to have the minion dematerializes for lane.
He's just going to get that gold, and then he's going to rush back and find something. No, he probably
but you know what the problem is? When you leave the lane, you want to obviously rush somewhere. So obviously his thought was, I need to scope out this particular brush to know about an invade. Problem is, when you commit to that, you can't just back at any time, because there's things like leashes and also position on the map that needs to be considered. He's kind of in no man's land right now. I assume he's not going to enter lane with no items.
I think he might have baited himself. Maybe he forgot that the Dematerializer goes into your inventory slot, and he just thought that he bought. Yeah,
he just screwed up. But there's the amusing thing where if you have no items, you just look for a level 1 gank and then back. He actually has the unsealed spellbook, so at 2 minutes into the game, he does get to switch over summoners.
Just going in the lane here.
All right, what an alpha. He's going into lane with no items. Take that, Zion Rakan. Power of love means nothing to Braum.
Yep. Oh, well, maybe it does.
Well, he can just go and teleport back into. Well, Braum having all sorts of fun in this particular game.
Okay. Is he gonna
get that item, Max. Get in there. You know you want it.
I can't even see what item he's getting.
No, we can't, because we need to know all about these stats.
Come on, OG.
They're so interesting.
I need to know his items. But all right, TP down.
Summoner down.
Oh God. Yep, it's already getting crazy.
Clearly, he wanted to know what items the enemy was starting before he bought his items.
It was a counter buy.
Yeah, a counter shop.
Yeah.
He's got the Doran Blade. Let's go.
No, we're just in betting terms now.
Well, he decided to go pretty greedy when he has actually gone for no pots here on the Braum, even against double ranged lane. Deadly Plumage level 1 can chunk you out. Just gone for the refillable. So a bit greedy, but certainly no gold values to talk about there.
Go ahead and take a look at the top lane. A lot of GP's been happy with this matchup as of late, but Linderong still feeling confident in the Gnar.
Such a weird thing where nothing has changed among the two, but over time, players have got better and better at playing the defensive side of the matchup, and even with stopwatch is a thing of the past. Gnars are finding that Gangplanes get out of lane against them pretty competitive in terms of CS, and now with the Relic Shield start, just the Q harass getting them gold generation anyway, so whatever you do to hold down that darn pirate, it's going to need the nerf bat to truly hold him down.
Songwon currently sitting near the top side. Will be recalling, going for a dive right now. Be pretty ill-advised. So we'll just go ahead and peel back. We get an Infernal Drake to start off this game, Papa Smithy, so things could get rather spicy a bit earlier on here.
And with our focus on the items for Max, we should note also that Xayah has decided to truly show her love with a Relic Shield to get her support more gold. Deft was the first person post 8.2 changes to bring out the Relic Shield and said, when it came to Mata, I did it to get extra gold for my support. It wasn't a choice for myself. heavy nerf to the regen. So you do get very little health sustain from the Relic Shield on the AD carry, but it does mean one of the people in the lane has a Relic Shield.
True love.
20 by a Relic Shield.
True support for your support. Beyond going to take the blast cone over the wall. Will get spotted out by the ward. Drop a control. Wrong, still feeling fine enough to go ahead and play forward.
Actually pretty insanely aggressive to put down a control ward and clear there when it's Gnar versus Gangplank. Surely Gnar is going to walk over and clear it. But anyway.
There's no way.
It's just so aggressive that it's like, why would he do that? Is he still there? I don't know. So until they get Battle War, that's why Songwon actually is being called by Gnar to invade at this time.
Trouble level does connect.
Oh, the Raptor actually stopping him from hitting the spear.
Yeah.
That was an important interaction.
Oh, and he misses the smite, so still going to be Beyond picking up that big Raptor.
They just saw Kha'Zix in the jungle, so Gnar can eventually walk over and clear the control wall that was put down.
Seems like Linderong doesn't care. He is just still playing very far forward, trying to farm up as much as possible.
Well, I mean, literally no one could be coming, so.
And, well, Songwon. He's about ready to. He's up top. AD has been chunked out. He's going to appear, throws out the spear. Not going to find the connection, though.
There was also a pretty greedy refillable potion start from Gangplank as well, so less regen.
Oh, TP, even just for good measure here, as they try to open up onto ADD. Linderong going to start off tanking it. He is just going to get taken down. No real juggling of the turret necessary, just the one turret shot. He's dead.
It's guaranteed the minion wave to be in position. That was a real teleport if you want, not a counterfeit one from Lava. Comes to the top lane, clean kill. Enacted there by the Nidalee, who hit the spear. First blood to ROX Tigers.
Lava gonna go ahead. Didn't actually get an assist for his TP, but nope. Still quite nice for him to pick it up, so I'm sure he's gonna be feeling a little bit bad for investing his actual teleport, not a freebie.
You know, he's pretty thrifty. Lava on this Zoe. Zoe finds magic out of the drop of a hat, so he'll be fine. Not often that we see Ancient Coin start, but Key and Max have always been on the cutting edge of support itemizations. It was Max who was the first to do the Janna running full gold runes at the tail end of the 2017 summer season. This time it's Key, actually upgrading into gold generation that's largely been overlooked. We mostly see the AP support item, the rush into the Spell Thief side of things, but just going to be a bit more passive in his choice here.
Keeping things nice and calm. A little over 1,000 gold opened up here for ROX Tigers.
It's fun how, if you track the logic, Songyun took Relic to get more gold for his support, and his support's gone for a very early gold generation of his own, which is very much trying to get Key to the first item. Traditionally, recently at least, the first item for Rakan and Xayah Rakan has been the Zeke's Convergence, which might be a surprise to other regions, but talking to Korean supports, it's such a big one-on power spike, and Ardent Censor's kind of fallen away in relative terms for the power spike that brings. Zeke's Convergence is very, very popular among the Rakan players with Xayah.
Lava trying to keep Ian contained, trying to shove him back, but getting the hits in. Going to be a little bit difficult here. Can't quite open up a CS lead. Beyond appears here into the mid lane. Double bubble going to connect in onto him. Looking for the hit. Will just go ahead and chunk him down significantly. Songwon not in a position to follow up with a spear, however. Otherwise, that Kha'Zix certainly would have gone down. But that will go ahead, force the Kha'Zix back, or at least put Songwon in a comfortable enough position where he can take the blue buff and maybe even kill the Kha'Zix if he were to appear. So gets this takeaway, and we'll already have the Infernal Drake prepped here by Songyun and Key. So objectives already spilling over into ROX's favor.
Yeah, the aggressiveness with the Nidalee is paying off, being able to pick up part of the first blood and now the first Infernal, which, given that they are going for a 4 DPS comp here, big pickup for the side of ROX Tigers. Now matchup going better than we've seen in recent memory.
Oh, ADD,
a lot of harass here, but often the transformation into Mega Gnar ends up halting the advance rather than further ensuring it, because the flash is still up from ADD, so chance of actually completing a kill pretty low for the Gnar if he transforms.
If he could have gotten that last hyper proc, was one hit away. Would have been a massive threat for a potential dive once that Mega Gnar came through. And maybe force out something like a flash from the GP. Doesn't find it though. Linderong just going to go ahead and ward forward.
First Gangplank ult, predictably, just a wave clear one from the side of ADD, who did not have his teleport to get back to lane. It's going to be lots of aggressive shoving, and going pretty much the norm in the top side. Italy going better than expected, already upgrade from both junglers on combat items here. So no boots of mobility before the warrior enchant. That's pretty common in solo queue. Is focusing on the warrior here for Beyond.
It's only 9.5 minutes into the game, and already better scoreline here for Songwon than what we saw from Spirit. 0-0-1.
Keep on the front foot, and it does pay off what looked like a risky Nidalee pick on first inspection.
Looking for another trouble bubble, but not going to find it this time around. Beyond remembers what happened last time. Doesn't want to experience that again.
And with the Malzahar coverage ban, a lot of safety in Lava. That's why we said the inevitability here of the Zoe hitting her item spikes. No suppressions and no QSS to have to buy early. The mid-jungle synergy is situational at best with the Kha'Zix and Azir, who provide a lot of damage but don't have the guaranteed setup of something like a Malzahar. So Lava continues to free farm. Songwon, already with his jungle enchant, going to be happy to turn onto the Rift Herald. So far, so good for the side of ROX Tigers.
Songwon going to be able to take that one down very easily, and get another look at this top lane. ADD is starting to suffer. He'll still be keeping up as far as the gold is concerned, but he can't really stick around in the lane for too much longer. It might just get forced back yet again. Nearly has the TP available. Would like to hold out at least until that's back up, but
look who's back up top lane.
Might just be losing the turret in that case.
Songwon spending all of his time topside, trying to force vertical jungle and trying to harass ADD away from lane. That's inevitability about the gold generation here, because Songwon's spending so much of his time trying to ruin the Pirates' day.
I'd say he's doing a pretty darn good job of it here, as this turret has been whittled down considerably by Linderong. Hasn't been able to take it yet, as Beyond pushes forward. Locks himself getting spotted out, but the control ward there will go ahead and see the big bug.
Beyond back on the top side, trying to find as much coverage as possible for his top laner, because he knows that if he leaves this lane, he's going to lose turrets so early. With the Phage, the harass has already started to go excellently for the side of ROX Tigers. We know this turret is low. The transformation means less auto attacks here from Linderong, just one single head.
While it will connect, ADD, the pain train continues. He's been out of charges on the corrupting potion and just really has to rely on the Cure Scurvy to try to keep himself sustained in this lane.
And the longer the lane here for ROX Tigers top side, the better, because they can, in the 4-1, make the Gangplank accountable, whereas Nidalee and Zoe just want to group and play through the mid lane and start sieges. Those two champions together are kind of the entire siege comp for the ROX Tigers. We're going to see the Rift Herald summoned in mid lane. Let's see if it's safer than game 1, where it fizzled out.
Something tells me they'll be able to get the channel off. TP coming back into the top lane as ADD. So rejoin, keep this turret alive. Beyond is waiting in the wings. Will be zipping forward now, jumps in right as the transformation comes down. He gets the wall, it flashes in, stuns him into the wall as the TP comes through. Beyond going low, pops the ultimate to try to stay alive as Lava does arrive. They pop him up with the grand entrance. Beyond still alive here for the moment, but he will go down, but not before he takes out Key. A 1-for-1 exchange, and Ian arriving around from the sidelines will get spotted out by the control ward. See if they can stop him. Battlestar not going to connect. Ian down to half HP. Sleepy Trouble Bubble comes in, and he'll get taken down by Songwon. Now the rest of MVP having to scramble, but they're just too damn low. Lava flashes in. Songwon finds another kill. One for the Zoe at the end of the day. It's 5-1 as ROX explodes onto the scene and looks for the first brick.
A skirmish that was ripe for the outplay. Only found outplays on the side of the ROX Tigers. Key the first to fall down, turret diving so early on his roam to the top lane. We're going to watch the replay here. The call is that both the mid laner and the support are coming in. Fully commit. So many members of MVP so low. But when Key dies, just basically to one turnaround, 2 turret shots and he's dead. Very squishy this early in the game. You're not sure. Azir sees triple kill in his eyes. He's thinking this will be the highlight play with everything available for the Azir. But by the time he actually completes the Emperor's Divide, he's low as well. They still have flashes up. Nidalee still has insane mobility. The bounce rings true, and so does 4 kills to the side of ROX Tigers.
And just like that, MVP's hopes shrinking by the minute. 4,000 gold down, 14 minutes into this game. Infernal Drake is already there for the ROX Tigers, an Ocean on the way in 10 seconds, and maybe a mid-tier 1 turret as well, as Ian desperately tries to clear out. Let's see, ROX grouping up, should be able to take this down. Actually, they'll dive in. Key goes in. This is the quickness to get that little taunt in. Sleepy Trouble Bubble connecting in, but will not be able to get the Paddle Star onto Ian to try to go for the finish. Harold will die, just going to be traded for the 1 turret.
It's such a disaster for the side of MVP, because what did we say in Champions Day? We said no one on the side of MVP can handle a Trouble Bubble short of perhaps Max on the first one. They have 1 unbreakable shield, and then everyone else is squishy. They have no plan to actually hold down the Zoe. She's getting more and more massive as a teleport comes in. Here's the Gnar.
And Narong gets the stun into the wall, up. Max getting popped up, just doesn't stand a chance. Lava will find another kill. ROX Tigers say thank you very much for the leash on the Ocean Drake. We'll take it from here. They finish it off as they add their second one to the trophy cabinet here.
And now there's just no map control for them to even hope to make Lava predictable on the Zoe. Zoe's going to walk up, Trouble Bubble everywhere. This is going to be one of those Zoe games that make people moan about Zoe balance, because MVP were not respectful of the Zoe pick outside of picking Braum as the support. Everything else just kind of plays into the hand of the Zoe. Then they made a mistake, and when you're disrespectful in draft and you also make the mistakes in the early game, you think about yourself and think, okay, doesn't matter about the Zoe, we'll just win early game. Then you really have the egg on your face, and sadly, this seems to be egg on the face for MVP.
Yep. Rough times here for MVP. Probably wishing that they were playing against Kuro Zoe right now, since that wasn't, that was much more manageable.
If you give Zoe enough rope, she'll make you hang for it. That's just the reality of Zoe as a champion. The heavy-handed Zoe nerfs aren't live here in patch 8.3. The 0.25 seconds on the queue that is a meme in and of itself means that she's at full power, she's ready to roll, and ROX Tigers even have a farmed and fed Nidalee to pick up Rod of Ages from the jungle pre-20 minutes also to compound the pain.
3-0 and 3, and I mean, like you said, pre-20 minutes. It feels like this game's been going on for a bit longer than that, given just how many kills ROX has put on the board. But still, not even close to that.
Biggest thing that we found today, kind of the most heartening thing that makes me smile, is now we've got players like Grace and Lava, where you think, how good are these guys? These mid laners who are a lot less known, a lot newer on the scene, both of them having impressive days. Lava has impressed us a couple of times now, and now he's on a fed Zoe, so he's having a whole whale of a time.
Quite good for him. Yes. The last outer turret will go down. All 3 tier 1s being taken out here by the ROX Tigers, advancing that gold lead as much as possible. 6.2 thousand now.
Yeah, 4 people show up at a turret. A gangplank ult comes in. If it doesn't, they take the turret. If it does, they wait for the next wave and then take the turret. There's really nothing that MVP can do with how strong these numbers are at, but they're going to try a teleport. Remember, that's a GP teleport.
Yeah, TP is going to be coming through. Cannon Mirage comes down. Glacial Fissure not going to get the hit of Songyun. Hopefully uses that Feather Storm to keep himself alive and out of danger. Bubble comes through, finds the hit in onto the Kha'Zix. ADD going to body block, but now Grand Entrance comes in, and they just get destroyed. The damage exploding forth. Will not go down. They will be able to retreat here with their lives, but they have to go back to the fountain. And now ROX, with the wave pushing in, can just posture forward and try to siege up onto this tier 2.
Yeah, 2 people almost instantly exploded, but that doesn't need an ult from Lava or Sungwon. They can do another rotation of that. Key had to use the stopwatch as you're a bit too aggressive. They'll back away. They'll continue pushing in other lanes. But we're starting to see a preview of the inevitability of the siege phase for ROX Tigers.
It might just get worse and worse here for MVP as another Infernal Drake is on the way in just a few minutes, as well as that Baron here in 1 minute and 40. Plenty of damage here for the ROX Tigers to try to take that one out. Not as much as MVP, but them getting into position to try to take it out is a whole other topic.
2,000 gold lead for the Nidalee. 500 for Gnar, which, let me tell you, feels like 2,000 because Gameplank's not ahead of you for once in a competitive game. By going full gold generation here. Linderong is strong, so ADD is going to show respect and measuredly pull back. 2 items already complete for Lava. The magic resist on the side of MVP largely absent, so waiting for the next siege, and Maybe they won't even wait that long as they're going to start contesting the blue buff just to continue to try to take away everything that MVP holds deep.
Try to kill that one, and actually, yeah, Songyun does manage to walk away with it beyond not having the smite. Costs him that minor objective. Lava yet again looking for the hits. Nice unbreakable there by Max does spare him quite a bit of his HP being lost.
Second Infernal spawning in a minute 40, and MVP in no position to contest it. Just looking for picks here, but nice little defensive ward popped over by Max, I believe. Does delay any picks from coming in. And that Rod of Ages was done around the 18-minute mark, so the Nidalee just utterly massive in this game. Sungwon, an old favorite of his, 3-0 and 3, 100% kill participation.
Quite far forward will get jumped on, but even then I don't think he's that concerned. Has teammates waiting in the wings. And he's got a Nidalee that can go ahead and just heal up a bit of the damage that he's taken.
This time they're actually 5-man grouped in the mid lane, looking for one of those trouble bubbles. First one doesn't hit.
Find the connection, the Battlestar going to be shorted. They open up onto the turret, and they work it down to below half HP. Looking for the passive proc perhaps here from Key, but he can't really stay that far forward long enough to get the hit in.
So early in the game, we're so early in the game, it feels like they have 3 paddle stars. Even the Gnar boomerang with a summoner area on top of it is doing 300 damage to the enemy AD carry.
Linderum yet again.
Gonna transform though, so they'll back away. But Nidalee's spear hits onto Varus, does a quarter of his health. The boomerang not far behind it, and then the paddle star needs no introduction.
I mean, they do have like 2 of the most infuriating Siege champions in the game with the Nidalee and the Zoe. Managed to pair them together. The first time we saw this, it didn't play out that well, this combination, but this time around.
It's why I was a big fan of the draft from Afrika. They may have lost with it, but the game went the opposite of this game. They were the ones getting creamed in the early game, and then a poke comp from behind. Well, they're not going to do anything. A poke comp from ahead feels uninteractive. It feels like you're against a team of Zoes, because wherever you position as Maha, what are you to do? There's nothing you can do. There's no smart place to stand. You have to respect the trouble bubble, whether you're hit by it or it's on the ground. It's actually just the duo lane, so no jungler will cause them to pull off here.
Do have Songwon now waiting in the wings. Infernal Drake going to get started up by Beyond. Control ward over the wall, trying to spot this out. That's going to be the spear coming in. Can he get it? No, it's actually going to be 880 picking up the Infernal Drake here. So MVP finally winning a battle, albeit a very minor one.
Yeah, the smite too early from Songwon. No smite from Beyond, and just a parlay taking it down for ADD. A bit of a feel-good moment, but for now, shouldn't change the game. They have their own comp that does benefit very heavily from Infernals, but 7,000 gold behind at relatively low gold amounts at 21 minutes into the game means Infernal's not going to shake out too strong until about 15 minutes from now. Nothing will change from ROX. Slight sidestep, but continue with the siege. That's what you set up.
Trouble bubble just going to be short there to connect onto ADD. He's got the orange as well to get himself out of there. Still, ROX should be feeling quite all right to go ahead and siege up onto this turret. As Lava keeps trying to poke people out. A nice barrel in will clear out the minion wave. To toss into the back just to try to get a little bit of damage in, but actually probably should have saved it to help keep Songyun topped off. Big hit connects in onto Max. Lava jumps back with the portal jump. Will keep himself safe, but the turret will stand for now.
They're waiting for the next minion wave before they probably do take this turret. Gnar keeping Azir occupied in mid lane, but he's going to try and reinforce as Maha starts to feel the frustration.
Bubble nearly connecting there. Cannon barrage comes down. Linderum looking for the ult, does find one, hits Max into the wall. Glacial Fissure will come down, pops him up, and Linderum still sitting nice and pretty up here in the front lines. Azir goes in, does manage to take out the Gnar, but Ian takes a massive hit. Still will be able to walk away with his life. A 1-for-0 so far in favor of MVP as ROX still just want to finish off this turret.
Yeah, 1 kill for a turret's going to be the end-up result because MVP are chunked out in 4 rolls. They still get the objective they wanted, but obviously not as clean as they want it to be, as Lava just picks up flashes and has a party. They're going to back away from here. Still objective picked up, but MVP invested a lot to make that happen. Maha actually cemented the engage with an ult flash on the Varus, so now he does not have flash available for the next time we see the inevitable siege be set up. The only area where ROX Tigers can get themselves into a lot of trouble is the Baron, just because MVP has a sort of comp with Azir and Varus that can do a lot of damage in close quarters. The Gangplank also can be involved there. So I'm not talking about a steal so much as a contest around Baron. That's always been the Achilles heel of a poke comp, trying to actually take the Baron to cement their lead.
So a ways away there, Maha is from actually doing any significant damage. He will be forced to flash over the wall. Songy now arriving, gets the spear connection. Does he want to go in? He's chasing in, Trouble Bubble, going to be shorted, but he jumps in, tries to get the hit. Gets another spear in onto Beyond, but it's just a bit too far away, it would seem. As still trying to chase this one out. Grand Entrance not going to find the connection. Spear going to go right in between Maha and Max.
Pretty optimistic use of the...
This was a very extended chase.
Quickness there. Uses flash through all of it as well. Going to spot Ian out as he's looking from the flanks for a big Azir second play. Doesn't have his flash or cleanse, so would have been a one-way trip, but could have scooped up a lot of squishies in that particular passage. Going for all the easy objectives. It's the last of them in the final remaining inner turret.
Even then, wave clear from MVP is going to be quite strong, so they can only knock this down to about half. Always landing these Trouble Bubbles onto the Braum. Now Beyond, maybe in a spot of bother, has to flash away from that spear. I think it would have barely missed, but didn't want to play with the Pixel RNG.
It's just such a nightmare because they can't put any forward vision down. Control wards go down from ROX. And then think of all the line skill shots coming over a wall. Nidalee Spear, Trouble Bubble, Paddle Star, all of them hard to spot with no advanced scouting. It's going to be the turret. Last inner turret goes down. Very long map for ROX Tigers to work with here. But when do they feel confident enough to actually start the Baron that could be their downfall?
How about right about now here? You know, the blast gun ready to go. Everyone's going to take a trip over the wall. They'll leave out Linderong.
Not invited.
Poor guy. And they're just trying to bait this one out, sitting in the darkness. See Beyond in the vicinity. Trouble Bubble not going to connect, but they get the pop-up, and Lava gets the deletion. Cannon Barrage comes down. Massive hit off that peg right there. Will go ahead and burst them down, and they manage to find Key.
See why it's a risk around there, Achilles. That was just the Baron leashing and one round of spells from the Gangplank, and someone dies. Multiple other people are chunked out. They're going to rush mid lane here. Wave clear's not fantastic on the side of ROX Tigers, so we'll see if MVP can get their first turret. They want more.
Point blank to go ahead and finish off Songwon, and maybe this could be the open up here for MVP to try to get a Baron, but over on the backside, Lava
Watch
and Linderong have come in with their TP. Wallop connects in onto Maha as they try to finish him off, and now with the help of Songy, they will be able to do so. Lava jumps back with a portal jump, immediately gets hit in the face with a parlay as ADD finds the kill. The rest of MVP will go ahead and run to the hills. No Baron on either side. Good play overall by MVP to delay this, but they still get punished in the end.
Yeah, really messy stuff, but you see some of the pitfalls of ROX's comp. What happens when they can actually be gap closed on and not have everything available. We're going to see the replay here. Double teleport. Very deep from ROX Tigers. Great timing for MVP to actually go all in because it's going to take that extra time for Linderong and Lava to close distance. And then you also have to remember that it was Lava closing the distance as a Zoe. She wants to be hitting at max range. She was getting crit in the face by ADD. She goes down in an advantageous trade for the first time in a long time for MVP.
Yeah, finally get the kill there onto that Zoe. 3, 1, and 4. Lava still having a rather good game. But MVP at least getting a slight reprieve here. Don't have to worry about those Baron-empowered minions coming through yet. Now, Drake, however, will get picked up. It's going to make the Baron that much easier to take.
Interestingly, it's not going to actually spawn the Elder, and it's at the time in the game where ROX want to get another objective on the map they could either trade for or take easier than the Baron, which will be staunchly defended by MVP. A fairly meaningless Ocean will be the 5th Drake spawn of the game. So many delay tools. Azir, he's back. You know all about delay.
They're going to have to be holding out for dear life as long as humanly possible, because so many members of MVP are just so drastically far behind. You take a look at Beyond, he's just got his jungle item completed with the Dustblade.
They do!
Yeah, they will be able to get it. But
they know Maha's down.
Double Bubble not gonna hit. They're looking for the poke in. Lava doesn't choose the right brush. And Maha will actually go ahead and get his way out of there.
That was very unlikely. They knew it had registered, but Maha in the end was able to choose the right brush to back in, and not a check on both means he gets away with his life. Seemed unlikely.
You know, it really did. He should not have gotten away from that, but sometimes that's just how things go.
Maha's build is just putrid. He's almost 100 CS behind. He had to go QSS.
Oh, yeah. He's got 1.5 items.
Yeah, he had to go QSS Ninja Tabi to try to slow down the effect of the pokes. All he really is one round of spells and no damage behind it.
He's an ultimate at this point.
Yeah.
Trying to lock everybody in and hope the Azir can burn them down. Since he at least has a minor amount of power behind him. Trying to build up more and more. Global does get the connection onto Maha, but no position for the paddle star to hit. But yeah, I mean, he and Beyond are both insanely underpowered. Warrior Enchant on the jungle item and a Duskblade is pretty much all the Kha'Zix has. ROX go ahead, they force up into the top lane, they finish off this turret, and now are looking for the inhibitor. Maha goes for it, finds the ultimate, Featherstorm up from Songyun with the flash away, should take him out, the safety is key. Tries to delay, massive burst of damage coming through from Lava. He just continues to siege up with the paddle stars. Knocks out 3 members of MVP and sends them back to the fountain.
You get the turret, but then the first round of damage comes in, still cooldowns and flashes available for MVP. ROX have to back, so it's slower than they want, trying to pick up these objectives. Because they know that MVP went into the fountain, they're going to try and rush the Baron down. They have 2 people gatekeeping, this should be clean.
Yeah, no cannon barrage, we'll be able to take this one away. Now stunned into the wall looking for Beyond, and he'll just get taken down as an afterthought. Post Baron, 10.5 thousand gold rather, in the lead here is the ROX Tigers, and now they have 3 minutes on the Baron buff to go ahead, add more to that, and you know, in all likelihood just close out the game, maybe another free 35 minutes.
While there's a lot to like about the teamfight comp from MVP, it's not without its flaws, and consider that Songyun is a god at this point in the game. He has his Infinity Edge, 3 items strong, and he also has 50% damage amp coming through with the burn effect on the Zeke's convergence. We've seen him caught at the start of fights and have to use his ult reactively. If he's actually free hitting, he might just blow MVP away alone. Kramer-esque when we saw Kramer and Tucson pop off on this same pairing.
We'll see if he gets the opportunity. They're certainly going to be in position for one as they start pushing forward. See, MVP struggle streak. They've gotten the 5 kills, they've gotten the Infernal Drake, but they haven't taken a single structure on the map. There's still all 11 turrets standing here for the ROX Tigers.
And they got a couple of passengers, you know. Unfortunately, Beyond and Maha, as you pointed out, just really won't contribute much, short of a heavy positioning mistake on the side of ROX. So it's really all on the Gangplank ultimate to corral multiple members. Flashes up on 4 members of the ROX Tigers. An opportunistic snipe onto Songyun is the dream for the side of MVP, but looking very unattainable. Already broken the base in 1 spot, but don't have an inhibitor yet. Looking for a second break.
You have Linderong pushing up towards that top side. Ian is trying to hold down the fort. Baron-empowered minions start pushing forward. Lava just looking for a trouble bubble onto somebody. As Linderong will go ahead and break through the Azir sand turret and take down that first inhib. See MVP unsure of what to do, and oh my god, it's just disgusting.
It was a poking proto-belt of all things.
Just so he thinks.
Well, she is a pain train. The pain train wants to hit the station. The station is the MVP next.
Yeah, the corruption coming down. Songyun yet again goes up with the Featherstorm. Have the drag back. Actually, no, the Feathers didn't go far enough. The Unbreakable blocked them and stopped them from getting a root. So MVP not going to get locked down. Still going to try to defend here. Lava gets worked down to about half HP. He's low on mana, so has to be careful as Ian goes in. 3-man Jarima shuffle. Will it pay off? They got the pick onto Songyun. Linderong looking for the lockdown. Gets the wallop key, dashes away. As MVP and Ian come up with a massive play to buy themselves some more time.
What a monstrous engage on a Pocom. Doesn't matter that you're 10,000 gold behind. It wins the start of the trade, but ROX can back away. They can use some heals. They'll still take an objective, and they're not done.
Yeah, they still have that Ocean Drake that is just subtly pushing their HP and mana back up as they peel away from the fights. They haven't been able to finish off that second inhibitor yet, and it seems like they will abandon the cause. They will go back to base. They have the Baron buff here just for 20 more seconds, so time to get a purchase in and try this again, but Ian saving pretty much single-handedly that second inhib.
I mean, a different game, that wins you the game, but they're so far behind that all it can do is buy a bit of time for MVP. Not able to crash the second inhibitor this time out, but the split push was already working. 4-1, very, very powerful. They keep returning to that as just using a stopwatch, why not? If you're Zoe, that was a bonus one, counterfeit stopwatch there. Patrolling the street, trying to pick up his fake Lexus. Wait, Lexus, Rolex. Fake Lexus would be pretty cool to pick up.
Lexus. Who's producing a fake car like that?
I don't know. If you know anyone, let us know. Or we return to this particular game.
I'm sure I could find one in Philadelphia.
They would love an Elder, but the Elder's not on the map. The Elder will spawn, as well, you know Philadelphia much better than I.
I don't think you have you ever been to Philadelphia?
No, I have not.
I didn't think so. Wasn't on the world stop. Thankfully.
It's on the list.
I would take it off the list. The only thing that's worth going to Philly for would be a cheesesteak, but you can find a perfectly adequate one inside New Jersey.
Well, regional beef aside, the beef for this particular game, as line skill shots keep being aimed at Ian. We're still waiting for the max range paddle star to show us epic gameplay, but we see one. So far, no.
Not yet. Super Creeps pushing it further forward there into the top lane, getting ready to crash. And over onto the Nexus turrets. Mid at the same time, getting chunked down. Brock getting ready to come through. Key able to stick around. They will finish that one off. Now looking for a second and potentially third inhib. Linderong will be able to go ahead and take out the one here in the bottom lane. No one contesting him. He's got the GA. He's got the transformation. He needs one more hit to finish it off, but it's just going to be a matter of time.
Yeah, second 4-1, much narrower. It's not top lane and bot lane, but still getting so much damage onto these inhibitors.
Oh my God, massive hit! He almost goes down. Redemption into the back. Can he get him? Yes, he does! He gets assassinated by Lava with the Redemption. It's taken down. All three inhibitors have fallen. MVP holding on to the dregs of their base as much as they can, but it's just not working out for them. Lava does nearly die, taking one too many turret shots. But this is looking like the end, Papa Smithy. The first Nexus turn goes down. Songwon will get taken out by a turret of all things, but ROX are still posturing forward, trying to get the fish. Linderong with the transformation, looking for the Gnar ultimate. They get the pop onto the GA, therefore Beyond. He'll get taken down. Another burst from Lava finishes them off. 12-7, double wallop. Nexus will fall 36.5 minutes in. ROX Tigers complete the 2-0 and shut down MVP.
And they are very deserving victors of this particular game. Really nice stuff from the ROX Tigers. Game 2, they go for the poke comp, very similar to what we saw from the Afrika Freaks in game 1 of the day, but where Afrika failed, the snowball started. Great counter jungling by Songwon, really making the Kazakhs a non-factor in the game. And then we saw all hell rain loose in ranged skill shots, line skill shots, never any vision to see them early, and when they finally did start hitting, there was some highlights.
That there were. There's a lot of highlights and a lot of clips that could have been taken from that game right there, but MVP, back to the drawing board for these guys. It seems like they have reverted to their former selves. Not coming out, not being very competitive in either game. A moment here and there. But outside of that, it was pretty damn convincing by the ROX Tigers, who are that much closer to overtaking KSV, tied as far as their win-loss, but just 1 point behind them on the standings.
And I want to reframe your words and say that ROX Tigers are that much better than MVP. It is actually a considerable chasm here. ROX Tigers are looking good. They do join KSV at the top half of the table, and it's no fluke. They have gone through an entire first round robin and ended it with a positive score. They've ended it with a lot to like about their game plan. It's so impressive that they lost a player, added ostensibly a star to the mid lane, aren't even playing Kuzan, and it's actually the members that looked hapless at the end of summer season, just being reloaded, revamped, confident, and taking down all comers to be a competitive force in Champions Spring 2018.
Well, for the people who have been a ROX Tigers fan stuck with this squad even after the 2016 roster fracturing, they certainly can feel vindicated here with this new roster and how they're performing, at least for the start of 2018. How things are going to be moving forward, we do not know, but for now, the ROX Tigers are here to play, and they are walking away with numerous victories.
Here's what we can say. With the match wins they're putting together, maybe they're already out of relegation consideration. Another match win, and they'll be basically safe, you'd have to say. Usually it's around 3 to 4 to 5 maximum for teams that are caught in the bottom of the table. Gangplank did a whole lot of damage, but they let Gangplank farm well, not that well, as Nara was able to stay ahead of him for much of the early game, and then they just coordinated the 4-1. Nara was pushing down inhibitors. The 4 members were doing ridiculous amounts of damage, poking down people, and sadly for MVP, Maha was hapless this game in particular. Second item coming in comically late into the piece. The Varus was an ultimate and nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, Ian having at least, you know, the one real nice stream of shuffle there in the bottom lane by the inhibitor, catching 3 members, but without the damage output from the Varus being higher, it cost them quite a lot in the end. But your MVP for game number 2 is going to be Linderong out of that top lane. 79% kill contribution and his 4th MVP win so far.
Goes down the defensive tree of the Resolve, but didn't need to be defensive here. A bit of respect for what he knew he'd be fighting. He'd be invading aplenty as we get to see those numbers. Husin and Deft on top, but a lot of people coming behind them, and another great team display from the ROX Tigers. I love the synergy between these members. There's no need to muddy the waters.
Excellent.
Exactly, and this was a really extended load of kills after he had failed the turret dive, or so it seemed. The turnaround in a very extended trade here. Looks like it'd be a 1-for-1, maybe even a 2-for-1. This time, Ian could not pull off the Shurima shuffle to end all. That was later in the piece, but sadly for him, that was after the game was largely done and dusted.
Yeah, that was definitely a rough one because of that with his life, as well as the lives of the rest of his teammates here in the top lane.
And then just skirmish, skirmish, skirmish. This is not a front-to-back team fight. It's just a pure brawl for the ROX Tigers.
It's every man for themselves, basically.
Good to see some of these replays for the first time as we had so much action in the tail end. Maha, again, unfortunately unable to do anything. Deletion confirmed on multiple members as the team went on, but then you see the squishy part and you think, okay, what if? The what if was cemented by the huge Shurima supple play much later in the game. But there were still moments here where you thought MVP might be able to stabilize despite being back huge amounts of gold. In the end, I feel like the item discrepancies were just too much.
You know, Linderong, his focus, the target focus during the fights was absolutely excellent. This was just perfect timing. Gets the transformation as soon as he enters the brushes. Thank you very much. Scoops him up and gets the kill. But, you know, if you had told me last year that Linderong was going to be on an MVP chart alongside the likes of Faker, Deft, and Kuro, I would have said, you're probably a bit crazy, but here we are. ROX Tigers, a top contending team in LCK. Let's go ahead and throw over to Joel for the translation as we hear from our MVPs.
Thank you very much, guys. This is ROX Tigers picking up a nice win for themselves, and here we are with the MVPs for today's series. I'll be here with Lava and Linderang for an interview. 3-win streak for you guys. How do you feel? Ending off the first round robin in the 5th place standing is quite an astounding result, and we're really excited for the second round. You had about a week break up for Lunar New Year. Did you have a nice break? Yeah, we had a nice break. We ate a lot of food, but maybe because of it, we had a little stomachache going in, but I think we're doing okay now. Yeah, I don't know exactly what caused it, but my stomach was hurting, and I think we're just trying to get better after this game. Of course, we're talking about the game itself now. You guys pulled off a great performance again. A lot of people talked about your Game 2 performance. Yeah, I think Game 2 I could have been a little more brawler-like when just like beating up my opponents, but kind of disappointed I didn't get as much opportunity in that.
I thought it was doing fine.
It really was impressive performance from you as well. Lava just like moving around and evading all the skill shots, but hitting all of your skill shots in return. You know, the coaching staff kind of recommended Echo in this composition. And you know, during practice when I did try it out, it wasn't a bad result, so I thought it was worth the try in this occasion. And we kind of have to see what we are talking about when it comes to all the wonderful plays that was made by the Echo here. Yeah, this was. Did you think that you were going to live out this one? I thought I was going to live out a little more safer than what it ended up to be, but it was a lot closer than Comfort. Yeah, I mean, he was telling us that he died out, but we saw him kind of escape out alive, so it's a good result on that one. Linderang, you really do like to put up your thumb, just saying good at putting the thumbs up. That's kind of your signature mark on here. I don't know what you're talking about. I think I'm trying to, I think it's mostly when I'm streaming, people like to see me put my thumbs up and just like give a thumbs up for good positive vibes, and that's kind of what I'm trying to put it at. Of course, with Game 2, you did really well and got yourself an MVP. How do you feel about your recent performances? I think it's better than last year, definitely, and it's something I should be very impressed by. And it was a very interesting situation with Seonghwan coming into the play to the mix. Wondered if you remember that play. And it was a very, very close situation for you guys. We might have a highlight for this. Yeah, it was around the Baron pit, and didn't know they were gonna hit the Baron, but Seonghwan just got the steal kind of all of a sudden, and but it was really all or nothing kind of play when he had to go in so aggressively on that one. And weren't you surprised at the damage shards once we were done with the game? You know, because Echo doesn't put out much damage during the laning phase compared to the other champions, I was not surprised at all. We were talking about Nidalee, the synergy with that champion along with top lane. You guys found a lot of benefit with that composition. How was that overall? And Nidalee was really off to a fire in the early game, and I was off to my own as well. So, you know, both players feeling very confident going to the mid game. Was a lot of confidence on our part. Let's look at one of the replays here. It felt like MVP did a good job of fighting back on this situation. We were talking about the teleport play that could have happened here, and but Kha'Zix trying to kill off the Kha'Zix right away. It didn't go off as soon as we wanted. So I was kind of scared in this situation where I thought I might have died out here, but of course Seonghwan did not comment on his own super plays. You know, yeah, we were trying to get him into the situation where he can dominate, but he got caught by the zero ult, so he didn't get to do much there. And going back to what ROX Tigers used to represent is that the bot lane used to do a lot of carry, but now it seems like the top side of the map from ROX Tigers is seeing a lot more power increase as the games go by. Well, I mean, not all games reflect that comment, as you said, but there are times where, you know, we can take the load off of the bot lane to do a little more carrying on the top lane as well. So I think it goes the same for me as well in mid lane. Yeah, just very similar to what Linderang was saying earlier. Do you feel like your results now are a little bit better than what you've been expecting? I think the results are surprisingly good for the past couple of games. I'm really happy with that. It seems like Linderang, you've been on fire in the laning phase and as a top laner in general. I think before the season, people did have low expectations, and it was fair to have that, considering my performances in the last season. But I think the turning point was with the coaching staff trying to get us hyped up and get us the confidence that we needed to perform a lot better. And I think it was putting the life into a dead soul, if you can say. I think the team morale kind of is affected by the actual game results, where we lost a lot in the previous months, and that team morale does get affected by that. But getting the wins consecutively like this does boost up the team morale to a positive manner. And you did finalize the first round robin. You need to have a lot of fans cheering on for you guys. But anything you'd like to say? We always thank you guys for your support, and we have second round robin that we're prepared for. We're gonna try to get a good result. We're gonna show that we are different ROX Tigers this year. Linderang, would you like to add on to that? You want to do that little thumbs up that we've been talking about? There we go. It's a little awkward, but I'll give you a lot of thumbs up, and in order to do that, we need a good performance, and I'm sure we'll try to do our best to get a good performance. So that will be the end of the interview with ROX Tigers, and hopefully we see a lot more thumbs up from Linderang in future games. I'm going to throw it back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Joel. Yeah, plenty to give a thumbs up about there from the ROX Tigers. 2-0 victory over MVP. Double 2-0s here today. That might be my first double 2-0 night of the season, Papa Smithy.
You are usually the bringer of the 94-minute dream, but no 94 minutes here. In fact, just 70 minutes between the two games of this particular second set. ROX Tigers play a class above MVP, who may have been reinvigorated recently, but still showed us the same old MVP moves around Baron. And ROX Tigers showing that they're no joke, now 5-4. Suddenly, we look at this list of teams and we think Kingzone Dragon X, MVP and Kongdu, everyone else kind of trading places, musical chairs being played with the remaining 7 teams. KT Rolster seems like they're going to make playoffs for sure. The other certainties are lower, Achilles, and that's a fun place to be in, where Jinna and ROX Tigers and SKT are on the up. Afrika and KSV especially, we don't really know where they're at.
Yeah, Kongdu and MVP, of course, giving themselves the certainty that they don't want, where it looks like they are going to be the teams going into that relegation match. Yet again, be twice in a row, I believe, for MVP.
And even BBQ with their new players have recently been training way down.
Yes,
so
they have been.
We're going to see BBQ tomorrow in the first game of the day. That's against Kingzone Dragon X, coming off a break, but also,
God bless, a
very long, strange series against Jin Air. So we're going to end the first round robin halfway through after Kingzone Dragon X versus BBQ. Then we kick off the second round robin. It's not with a big name game, but it's KSV against Kongdu Monster. And man, if KSV doesn't pound Kongdu Monster, then KSV's season needs to be under the fine-tooth comb. They need to win big against Kongdu.
Yeah, and even a 2-0, if it's not convincing, is still going to look a bit damning there for KSV.
They lost to Kongdu Monster in the first round robin. That was the start of the pain train for KSV, so very interesting match.
That's what made us think that Kongdu Monster could be a top contender here in the LCK, but
well, that was not right.
Yeah, no, we were very wrong about that one. We misplayed very heavily. We're not going to be betting on Kongdu Monster anymore.
We're going to be betting on more fun in the draw. So we saw some crazy stuff today. I don't know how much more Echo, maybe some more in Italy. The Scion, it's going to be back.
I hope people were feeling inspired. I hope we get some more Echo. It's very dynamic. We had some fun getaways there from Lava in the mid lane. I'd like more of that, but we'll find out if we get more of that tomorrow when we come back for more LCK. So we'll see you right back here in 24 hours.